With the 21st pick in the NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Trent McDuffie, cornerback, Washington. McDuffie totaled 94 tackles, 1 sack, 2 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles during his career at Washington. The New England Patriots had a good core of cornerbacks last season, but J.C. Jackson, one of the best in the league, is a free agent, and Bill Belichick is known for not paying high prices for free agent cornerbacks. McDuffie could come into New England and become the next great cornerback under Bill Belichick. With the 22nd pick in the NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Treylon Burks, wide receiver, Arkansas. Burks comes out of Arkansas with 2,399 career yards, 18 touchdowns, with 16.4 average yards per catch. The Las Vegas Raiders had an up-and-down season to say the least last year, but their offense was mainly driven through wide receiver Hunter Renfrow. While Renfrow is a great receiving option, he needs a wide receiver duo in order to capitalize on Derek Carr's skills as a quarterback. Burks could be the perfect fit to give Carr a second wide receiving option and help the Vegas Raiders offense explode this upcoming season. With the 23rd pick in the NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Andrew Booth Jr., cornerback, Clemson. Booth went from being one of the premier prospects at the cornerback position to dropping all the way to the bottom of the first round. During his time at Clemson, he totaled 68 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. The Arizona Cardinals are facing a lot of questions this offseason, but the one that needs to be addressed first and foremost was their pathetic play in their secondary. Andrew Booth Jr. might not have all the answers, but he will provide a solid option for them at cornerback. With a 24th pick in the NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Trayvon Walker, defensive line, Georgia. Walker totaled 61 tackles, 9.5 sacks, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble during his time at Georgia. Cowboys' interior defenders were extremely disappointing compared to their edge rushers. Walker would be an extremely valuable addition alongside Lawrence, Gregory, and Parsons this upcoming season. With the 25th pick in the NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Kaiir Elam, cornerback, Florida. Elam is coming off of a career at Florida where he had 78 tackles, 5 interceptions, and 1 fumble recovery. The Bills already have a great secondary, but with the injury to Tre'Davious White that occurred last season, there is no guarantee that he will return to form this upcoming year. Elam will add a great cornerback to their already impressive secondary and continue to anchor the Bills' defense for years to come. With the 26th pick in the NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Chris Olave, wide receiver, Ohio State. Olave is coming off a career where he had 2,702 yards, 35 touchdowns, with 15.4 average yards per catch. The Titans desperately need a wide receiver number 3. This was shown through their playoffs when A.J. Brown and Julio Jones had to carry the bulk load, but when Tannehill ran out of options, he choked and none of the other wide receivers could pick up the slack. Olave will add a great number 3 receiver to the Tennessee Titans core, but could also move out to a number 2 receiver in the event that Julio Jones gets injured and will provide them a great receiving option alongside A.J. Brown for the foreseeable future. With the 27th pick in the NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Roger McCreary, cornerback, Auburn. McCreary had 135 tackles, 1 sack, 6 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble during his time at Auburn. The Buccaneers are going into a retooling phase, not necessarily a rebuilding phase, following the announcement that Tom Brady would be retiring. Their secondary lacked this past year, and McCreary could add a solid option to help bolster their secondary and help speed up the process of their retooling phase. With the 28th pick in the NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Jameson Williams, wide receiver, Alabama. Williams is coming off of a career at Alabama where he totaled 1,838 yards, 18 touchdowns on 19.6 average yards per catch. The Packers have a lot of questions to address this offseason. While the quarterback discussion with Aaron Rodgers potentially leaving might dominate the headlines now, the real question is who will be at wide receiver next year. Both Davante Adams and Allen Lazard are free agents. Whoever the quarterback is, they will need a solid wide receiving core if the Packers are going to stay in contention. Williams could give them a good piece to either play around Davante Adams or replace Davante Adams, though he won't be able to fully meet the talent threshold that Adams leaves behind He'll be a solid option for whoever mans the quarterback position next year in Green Bay. With the 29th pick in the NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jahan Dotson, wide receiver, Penn State. Dotson's coming off a career with 2,757 yards, 25 touchdowns on 15.1 average yards per catch. Jalen Waddle and Devontae Parker are going to be stalwarts at the wide receiver position in Miami for years to come, but Fuller is currently a free agent. Dotson could immediately fill in for Fuller without taking a massive cap hit and allow Tua Tagovailoa to have 3 solid options for many years to come. With the 30th pick in the NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Jermaine Johnson II, edge, Florida State. The Kansas City Chiefs struggled on defense until they acquired Melvin Ingram at the trade deadline. While Ingram was a solid option for them, he is currently a free agent, and he's also getting on the older side. Johnson totaled 106 tackles, 18 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles during his time at Florida State. He could add the edge rushing presence that the Chiefs need to return to the Super Bowl this coming season. With the 31st pick in the NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Bernard Raymond, offensive tackle, Central Michigan. Raymond only allowed 1 sack, 4 hits, and 12 quarterback hurries during his entire career at Central Michigan. The Bengals went on a miracle run this past season, but their one downfall, which ultimately also led to their Super Bowl loss, was a failure to protect quarterback Joe Burrow. While Raymond will not be the only answer that they need to fill in at offensive tackle, he will be a great piece and will also allow them to facilitate other offensive linemen around Burrow this upcoming season. With the 32nd pick in the NFL Draft, the Detroit Lions select Matt Corral, quarterback, Ole Miss. Corral had career totals of 8,281 yards, 57 touchdowns, 27 interceptions, with a 67.3% completion percentage. Corral went from being the consensus number 1 quarterback in the draft to falling all the way to the bottom of the first round. This does not mean that he's not talented, however, and he has great upside. The Detroit Lions need to give Jared Goff legitimate competition. While Goff is still a solid quarterback, he's not their long-term option. There's no guarantees that Corral will be either, but at least this gives Jared Goff some strict competition and will allow for there to be 2 great quarterback options for the Detroit Lions this upcoming season. Thank you all for watching. I plan to do a few other mock drafts in the coming weeks leading up to the NFL Draft. Following the draft, I will continue to do NFL-related content such as a season preview for every division within the NFL. I hope you'll stick around.